In the book Gilead, the author Marilyn Robinson says this: "Love is holy because it is like grace. The worthiness of its object is never really what matters." Love and grace and even holiness are hard concepts to define. When we tell a child what love is, we usually explain it through actions. I love you, and so I cooked the dinner you wanted. Or you did something wrong, and I could be really angry, but I forgive you and I offer you grace. I offer you understanding. Holiness means to be special or set apart, or holiness is Jesus and why he glows in the pictures we see of him. Love and grace and holiness are hard things to define. They're hard things to hold on to, and they're hard things to live into. Love and grace sometimes looks like, it looks like a lot of things. Sometimes it looks like putting dirty clothes in the hamper because, they didn't end up there. Sometimes it looks like cooking dinner on nights it's not my night to cook, or doing extra chores so Dan is free to do the things his life or job or family requires of him. Love looks like, and grace looks like, knowing what sarcastic or hurtful comment to respond to or ignore. Grace is going back to that person who's hurt you to hold them accountable again, to offer God's goodness and grace. In 1 John, we learn that we love because God first loved us. And I think the same is true of offering grace. We offer grace on our good days because God's gift of grace is the ultimate gift of grace. We wouldn't understand what it means to live into grace, live into love, if it wasn't for Jesus, who from the very beginning of his time on earth saved people through his love. Yes, he died on the cross, and that's its own salvific, love, grace-filled thing on its own. But when we read through the Gospels, we see how Jesus loved and offered grace his whole ministry, healing and blessing and calling people forth and changing their hearts and minds, opening their eyes. That's what love and grace is. Opening people's hearts and minds and eyes to a new way of doing things. So whether love looks like today dealing with a toddler in a temper tantrum, or a child who's exhausted because it's May and everything is crazy, or an adult for that matter. Whether grace is going back into a place that hurts or a relationship that's uncomfortable and trying again to offer God's goodness. I pray that the Spirit moves in your heart and life, that love and grace and even holiness are something, because it was first gifted to you through God, you're able to give to someone else. Because that's when the world changes.